everybody, Dan Illman, Mike here. The DRF race of the day for Saturday, July the 15th is one of 3 graded stakes races on Saratoga's program. It's the Grade 1 Diana. Let's take a look at this field of fillies and mares going 1.1 miles on the turf. Now, we only have 4 of them trained by Chad Brown, including the number 2 in Italian, who's not only the 2 to 5 morning line favorite, but probably right now the best filly and mare turf horse in the country.
Yeah, that seems like she probably is. 2 to 5, I guess. I mean, Dan, it's just another really good spot for her. And unfortunately, this Diana just fails to keep stacking up. It keeps getting worse every year, Dan. It's all Chad Brown's race. He's got 4 of the 5.
Please scan or click the QR code for Race of the Day access on mobile, which includes free formulator past performances. In Italian's game is speed. And we'll take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. Unsurprisingly, the number 2 in Italian is expected to make the lead. And I'm not sure how fast she's going to have to go. Market segmentation's cutting back out of a 1.25 mile race, the Grade 1 New York, and none of these other ones really have a lot of gas. So in Italian might be walking the dog heading into the backstretch.
I mean, that's how it looks on paper. It's hard to believe that, one of her stablemates are going to go after her in this race. And it's not like there's any chance that In Italian's not going to be on the lead in here, Dan. If she's not on the lead in this race, then something's wrong. She's way faster than these horses. And she already has a big advantage because she's more talented, too.
The one mare in the race not trained by Chad Brown is the number 1 Fev Rover, who goes out for Mark Cassey, and she did show some speed last summer in her North American debut when finishing second in the Grade 2 Dance Smartly, and then she showed some speed in the Canadian, staying close to the pace, so perhaps Javier Castellano will attempt to get close. In her most recent start, the Grade 2 Nassau, her first start off about a 7-month layoff, I thought she was pretty impressive, turning back to a 1-turn mile. It's a very wet turf course, but she's just being very confidently handled in behind horses, waiting for a seam, and once she gets it, she explodes.
Yeah, I like this performance from her too. And it's not the first time that she's run well since she's arrived stateside, so that's a good thing. Obviously, she's not going to win this race from last to first like she did in this race we're watching right now, but as you've already pointed out, she's shown enough speed to be forward in her races. If she has to be, she probably has to be in here. And if anybody's going to go after In Italian, I guess it's got to be her because the other ones aren't going to do it.
And we'll have to keep an eye on the weather, as always, at Saratoga, but she would appreciate a little bit of give on the ground. And that's a bit of a question mark for the 2 in Italian, who did win the one and only time she tried an off-turf course. That was a good track in her second lifetime start. Here's her win in the Just the Game last time out, and it was a race very similar to this. It was a short field. She was able to just get to the easiest of leads. When In Italian goes 24-2, 47-4 to the half mile, she's supposed to sprint on home like this, and she does.
Yeah, exactly. Had a huge advantage here. Makes it look really easy. We've seen this from her before, though, Dan. And the good thing about In Italian is we've also seen her in races where she had to go a little faster sometimes, and she still runs really well. Just a good horse. I don't think there's anything else to say. She's 2 to 5.
If you thought that was an easy trip, how about this one for the 3, Market Segmentation, who stole the Grade 1 New York on the lead at 6 to 1. Let's watch that 1.25 mile race at Belmont. She got absolutely loose in this race, went 1/2 in 50-1, 3/4 in 115-1, and when the big favorite Warlike Goddess just didn't perform up to snuff, who was going to catch her? Nobody.
Yeah, this race was kind of embarrassing to watch, actually. You go back and pull we're just showing you the stretch run. Go back and watch these horses go up the backstretch. It's kind of a joke. The hold that this horse is under with nobody even trying to move on her. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. $600,000 purse. But listen, she did what she had to do there. It was a good performance. I have the feeling she's still getting better, Dan. I do think she's pretty good. And the good news for her, too, is she's pretty handy. I mean, she's run really well without the lead in the past, too. So I guess that's a good thing. It's really hard to like her in here off of that most recent start.
The biggest price of the 4 Chad-trained horses is likely to be the number 4. That's Fluffy Socks, who's always been an honest campaigner throughout her career, but might be a notch or 2 below Grade 1 class. It was a good sign, I think, that they brought her back for her 5-year-old campaign, considering she's already accomplished a lot as a multiple graded stakes winner. She looked good at Churchill Downs going a mile, settling off the pace, finding a seam in between horses, and splitting through. The problem is she's a closer, and she'll need need someone to push in Italian.
Yeah, the trip may work against her in a big way here. I like everything else that you said about her, though, Dan. Too. She actually, I think she's a little underrated, even if she's not, one of those superstars that we usually see from this barn. She's really good. There are, I think, 6 triple-digit buyers in this race. In Italian, that's 5 of them. The other one, this horse has. She earned it on this turf course last year. She ran really well that day in the Boston Spa. Another race that didn't set up well for her. I feel like that most recent start off the layoff at Churchill, I think that might be the best race she's ever run, Dan. She was really sharp in that race.
Now, she really fired on home in the stretch. The 5 is White Beam, and I guess of the Chad trained horses, this is the one with the most upside potential. She's still a very lightly raced 4-year-old. In her North American debut, you could argue she was pace compromised. She got wired on a very slow pace. She came back and looked good in the Grade 3 Gallaret. She found a good pace tracking, ground saving spot off of the leaders. She was able to get out on the outside, and just watch how she finishes this race off once she splits horses. I thought this was a pretty eye-catching race. She'll obviously have to do a little bit better against In Italian, but this filly might have a future.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there are some races with her name on it coming up here. Maybe not this one, but she's pretty good. I like the way that she won that race. She got a great trip in there, but I just like the way that she settled it once she got clear in there. I don't know. I think you're right. She has the most upside. Maybe she's the one. If you wanted to take some kind of shot in this race, you do it with her. At that point, the question just becomes, what price do you want to try to bet against an Italian in here? And this horse is 5-1 on the line. I wouldn't take it.
Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button for the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel. Saratoga has started. Del Mar right around the corner. It's going to be a hot summer on the DRF YouTube channel. Top pick time for the Diana. It's a nice card at Saratoga. It just isn't a very appealing betting race, unfortunately. It only came up with 5. Chad has 4, and In Italian is simply the horse to catch and beat.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet against her in here, Dan. I just think it's another great spot for her. As you've already pointed out, not a great betting race. It'll be interesting to see what she does.
2-4-1-3 for Mike, 2-3-4-5 for me. It's the Grade 1 Diana at Saratoga. 3 graded stakes races on tap Saturday at the Spa. Good luck.